There we go. Good. Well, welcome everybody to Thrive Thursday. Um, this is where we get together and just chat about things that are important to us at some level. Maybe important because we know somebody they're important to. Maybe they're actually important to us. We don't know, but um, things about life. And we just do a little presentation, and then from there we have some chat about it. Really short time. Um, my team here is here tonight. I have some of my team is Karen, she'll wave, and Richard and Brenda, and glad to have you here. And of course, if you're in the Together We Thrive group, you know that these recordings are accessible to you. And if somebody sent you the recording and you'd like to see all of them, then ask to join the Facebook private group called Together We Thrive. So tonight, I'm going to share my screen here. I made the people on the whole Zoom thing really tiny, so everything's under more. Let's see. Okay. Oh, in fact, I can't find. There it is. Okay, good. You see my screen? Ta-da! So tonight's about routines, and routines are really important. No doubt about it. There's science behind it, and there's actual, something I'll talk about here is observational research, and of course there's experiential research, which we do ourselves. And I'm doing this because we are doing the Reset Your Routine Challenge group, accountability group, and it made me really start thinking about routines. So those two groups aren't really combined here, but it definitely relates, and it made me start looking into what routines are all about. So doesn't matter who we are or how old we are or what we are, but routines are good for us for sure. And now let me see how, okay, I'll just do this to the next slide, right? Yeah, okay, good. So lots of things that we do can become routine, and they're all good for us, and there are reasons. The really cool thing is I have the apple here in the middle because, the adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And I really always thought of that as being, that's because of all the fiber, so that's what keeps the doctor away. And then I was reading this one article, and I said, well, maybe it's not just that we should all be eating more apples, but maybe we should be doing the same good thing every day, make it routine. I thought that was a really interesting way to look at that. So every time we have to make a decision, as we know, we're adding stress to our life, right? And the more decisions we have to make, the less self-control we seem to have. That is a study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. So we can't do away with decision making. Wouldn't that be nice to have somebody making all of our good decisions for us? And when there would be no bad decisions, that's just not going to help work. But we can create regular rhythms that can take much of the guesswork out of our day, and then there would be much less stress. This is a quote from a primary care physician at Piedmont Medical. Carrying out routine activities reduces stress by making the situation appear more controllable and predictable. So one way to prevent stress is to be prepared. And if our day is prepared around routines, when things come up, we can deal with them better because some things we know are going to be in place. And when some things are in place, we can handle the stuff that comes at us. And I think with this whole, these restrictions, these global restrictions that we've all had to deal with since February or March, took us all out of our routines, and we didn't have any control over our day because somebody else was telling us what we could and could not do outside of our homes. And if we had a routine that involved it, like running every day, or going to the gym every day, or cycling every day. Even just take that one part out can like throw everything into a tizzy. And that's what we've all been doing, which is why we company-wide have started this Reset Your Routine Challenge to kind of help us all get back into some routines that will lead then to better health as well. Another study by researchers at Tel Aviv University said that predictable, repetitive routines are calming and help reduce anxiety. They also help you to take control of your day and subsequently your life. So some of us still can't do all the things we want to be doing outside that were part of our routine before, but if we can set up some daily routines within our home, we'll be able to have that much more control and not feel that out of control thing that's going on. What these are pictures of are some of the things that we can actually take control over and make into routines. Maybe we can have our coffee every day at a certain time of day, or we can journal a certain time of day, or have our prayer or quiet or meditation time. Take our daily strip every day, right? Doing that is just something that we can count on. It's one less thing we have to think about. It seems like, oh, it's a strip of vitamins and it's a shake. No. It's really so much more than that. I want my snack every day. I mean, you might say, I don't. But today I had blueberries. I had frozen blueberries. And if you saw my other thing, my teeth and lips were all blue. But, and I don't think you can see it too closely there. I have brushed my teeth since then. I love frozen blueberries. They have to thaw a little bit. Sleep habits, when we have a routine around our sleep, we sleep better, like that cute baby, and my babies only didn't sleep that way all the time. Dog walking, especially time of day, when we wake up, when we go to bed, things based around the clock help us, our exercise time, and just choosing to have, one good meal a day, or 5 good meals a week. That could be our routine. All those things will help us. So observational research indicates that individuals in good health actually engage in highly routine health behaviors. Its routine is consistently found to be important for children in many, many ways. And we've all known that. Kids, it's part of that boundary thing too. When they have a routine, it keeps them. It's kind of like the banks of a river. The kid is the river that would be whitewater and all this other stuff going on, but the banks kind of keep the child with routine and with boundaries in that place where they feel safe. Okay. Bedtime routine is associated with increased family functioning and improved sleep habits for everyone, especially the children. Family routines have been linked to the development of social skills and academic success, and adherence to family routines has been identified as important for family resilience during times of crisis. And when we unmute everybody, I want us to be thinking about those times in our lives when we've had our routines going along and a crisis comes along and how that helped us, or when we haven't had routine and crisis comes along and how it felt, okay, and what those routines are. So routine can help with better stress levels, as I said. Routine leads to improved mental health. Because we have less stress, we have more time to relax and have less anxiety. Better health from routines, which then leaves us refreshed. Your sleep schedule and your bedtime habits, like what you do before bed and turning off the screens and maybe getting something to read, or maybe that's your meditation time or your reflection time of your day, but that's that routine. then it actually helps to have more mental sharpness, better performance, emotional well-being, and energy level the next day. Okay. Better health is a result of just a little extra planning. As we know in our reset group, we're talking about planning meals. We have the 30-day meal plan. We'll have to send that to you, Richard. That 30-day meal plan, planning ahead, thinking forward, making even the planning ahead be our routine that takes off the stress of what am I going to do today in every area of my life. Some areas are going to be not in that category. And when we have good, healthy routines, we become a really good example for other people too. We eventually, people are going to start to see that we demonstrate, that our health is improving, that our motivation is improving, that our self-image is improving because we feel in control of ourselves, which is different than being in control of other people, of course, to be in control of ourselves and to have those routines. And then we become that good example and we can help others then in setting their own routines. So a study published in the Lancet Psychiatry found that the people who favor an active daytime routine over a nighttime have healthier sleeping cycles, and consequently, that is associated with better mental health, and it minimizes the risk of developing emotional difficulties. And I think, I only did a little bit of looking into biorhythms many, many years ago, but it just kind of made sense that our bodies really are set up to go with the sun and the moon and the tides and all that stuff. We're all connected. We all have the same creator, keeps us all together. And when we are in sync with that, we are better off. And when we were all only in this, it's the industrial age that changed all of that, right? From getting up with the sun and going to bed, or doing indoor quiet things as the sun was going down. There was that was a better, healthier way to live. And now we have people doing night shifts and shifts that change, and this graveyard shifts and all those other things that aren't really healthy, and they really do show up in mental and emotional not well-being. Let's see. Another study published in the Journal of Abnormal Child Psychology found that family routines help to moderate impulsiveness and oppositional symptoms and traits in children. Again, they need that routine. They need the boundaries. They need to know where the turns are coming in the river. They need to know this is going to be okay because this is part of the routine. So routine can really be an anchor for us. No matter what's going on in our day, knowing that we have our evening meal around 6 p.m. and that we go to bed around 10 p.m., it can actually be a comfort. It can be like, whatever's going on, I'm going to stop for dinner. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to start over again and do my thing, have my strip and my shake at a certain time each day. And the certainty of our routine can really help us to manage the uncertainty that life can throw at us. Coping with unpredictable periods of time can feel more doable when we have a little structure in place to look forward to. And that is my little presentation for you guys. And I'm going to actually now make you guys bigger so I can see you. Whoops, made you smaller. Now you're gone. Okay, that's kind of weird. I don't know how you get you back. Oh, I know. I have to stop sharing. Okay, there we go. Hi, everybody. Okay, good. We're all Hi, Arlene. Glad to have you. Sorry
I missed most of it. I apologize. I had another Zoom meeting and then a phone call I needed to take.
There you go. That's okay. We can see the.
Thanks for coming.
So really, what about our own examples of when we've had routines and when we've not had routines, and how it's affected either our mental health or our mental outlook or our physical? Well, I'm sure we all have examples to share, which way. Anybody want to go? Because I've been doing a lot of talking.
When right before I had my daughter, people were talking about how I'm going to have to be in a routine and I'm going to have to wait until it's not nap time to go to the grocery store. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's not what I want. But actually, once I had my children, that's exactly what we needed. My schedule was very regimented every single day, not just for the kids, but for myself as well. And
Mm-hmm.
I went away and left my kids with someone. I wrote down everything that I did the entire day so that the kids weren't out of whack. You know, it was comforting to them that
Right.
they had the same schedule. So, yeah, routines. That was a great talk. I really hadn't thought much about how important routines are, but they really, really are important. That was very good.
They are. And in this little research I've done, routines are not habits. Routines take 3 times as long to form as habits.
Mm-hmm.
Because routines need cues. You wake up, you do this. You know, it's 6 o'clock, you make dinner. It's just like routines need cues, where habits are things you just do over and over and over again. So to get really healthy routines, we need to work on it really conscientiously to make that happen. I think that's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have any examples to share? Personal stories of with and without routine?
Well, I think that this whole time that we've been without routine because we can't go anywhere and do anything has just been a perfect example of how we all kind of can go off the rails because there's nothing to keep us the boundaries that, you know, so it's like the whitewater rafting that has no, you know, no discipline, no pathway. And I think the most difficult thing has been trying to try and even remember what is it that I used to do? I mean, I used to get up and go to work, and I'm grateful that I'm in my second week of work. I've just finished my second week, and I was one of 4 instructors that they brought back, and I'm very grateful, even though it's only 6.5 hours a week. It's very stressful to be there, and the protocol, you know, with the COVID and everything, and masks and cleaning and not letting anybody in the facility when we're cleaning because it's a very highly toxic chemical that they're using, and nobody asked me what to use. And so, you know, so then that, you know, that is a concern, but I'm finally starting to get back into the habit and feeling more like myself today than I did a week or a week.
So you regain the routine of what it's like to go to work in your day,
Mm-hmm.
and the routine is it's taking the stress away.
Right.
Because you have
exactly.
I like it that routine is an anchor. I love that
idea
because it really does keep us, those little things in our day, like we can go from one thing to the next.
Right.
When our girls, when Ed and I went through a really stressful time in New Jersey. We've had lots of stressful times, but I'll name this one. So it was for 1 year, and it was horrible. But our girls went to a private school, and we lived 30 minutes from the school. We were on top of what they called a mountain in New Jersey, which, you know, is like a little gopher hill everywhere else. It was like 1,000 feet elevation or 1,200 or something. And then we had to go down the mountain, you know, take the girls to school. So it was good. So what we did was, this was a year of phenomenal stress, actually, and lawyers and courtroom appearances every month and all this stuff, and a 2-week trial at the end. And we were good. We hadn't done anything wrong, just that there was a crazy person after us. And so, I shouldn't say that. I mean, just because there was somebody who was not thinking clearly who was after us. Anyway, we had a routine. And that routine was, we got up, we got the girls ready for school, we took the girls to school, we went to the mall. We walked through the mall. We went, came home, had a prayer time, and then we went into our day. And you know, it was actually a peaceful time, even though it was so high stress, because we had that routine. You know, we just had that, and we knew that in the morning we're going to wake up, and then we go into and deal with everything throughout the day, and it was good. Well, then many years later, then when the girls were, you know, Annie had that terrible thing that happened to her with that thing exploding in her bloodstream and gave her staph infection in her blood, and she almost died, and she was paralyzed. And the same, you know, a week later, Becca was hit broadsided by a cement mixer, and who ran a red light, and we had 2 girls in 2 different hospitals, and it was pretty horrible. And we had no routines, and we were just, you know, one would stay at the hospital, one would go home and take a shower, one would go to the other hospital, and we'd go round and round and round. And that was for months. And, you know, Annie came home. We had 6 weeks of her IV antibiotic to give her, and physical therapy to teach her how to walk again. And Becca was pretending everything was okay when it really wasn't. Sorry, Becca, if you're going to watch this soon. We really, really, really suffered. Our marriage really suffered through that time because we had no routine. We had no routine whatsoever. Every single day was high stress, didn't know what was going to happen, didn't have not one anchor time. And it was a really hard time. Well, that was a long time ago. Here we are still. I guess that's like 15 years ago. So we found our way back, you know, to the things that are important to our marriage, which was always part of our routine before, you know, it still is. So yeah, it's pretty important. And I think of, you know, just talking about our health right now that we're doing with the Reset group, you know, the routines are going to help us, give us that place to go to make the right decisions, to the habits that will make the routines that we'll do without thinking. Routine is something that you do without thinking at all, you know. Once it's really formed, you just do it. And once we're really, really working, and if it does take, you know, 60 to 90 days to make these good routines, it's so worth it. We'll all be able to be better off in every way of our life, as we saw, health, sleep, mental health, all kinds of things. Anybody else have a story to share or a comment? Any comment?
I think that's part of the reason too why people are happy for kids to go back to school, because they have a routine.
Yeah.
It's fun to have a little time off to go and do what we want, but then by the time September comes around, people are ready for that routine again of getting up, getting kids on the bus, you know, and then going about whatever we need to do.
Right.
You know, the kids like it too.
And you can imagine, think of a playground at recess time. There's no routine. There's just no structure. Can you imagine if they're left that all day long? I mean, they have to be brought back into this thing, and they know what to expect. They know, kids need to know what's coming. That's security to them, and it's security to us as adults too.
Right.
Really, really do. Yeah, for sure. You're talking about some weird word that had obese in the middle of it about kids, how they tend to gain weight in the summer because of lack of structure, they're saying. That it's just too much relaxing time, too much not, you know, in their routine of when they eat and when they play and when they work, which I guess happens to us on vacation too.
Right.
I mean, I just came off 2 weeks, and yeah, it was not my healthiest choice times. For sure. Yeah. So that's all I've got. And share
great.
this with people. Hopefully it'll help them think about ways that they can, get their routines in place, even if it's just one little thing a day. And also there was another study about how when you try to put too many things, set up your, like some people say, okay, so I'm going to, like I shared my plan on the reset group. I can't do all of that at one time. I can't expect to make all those routines happen and work on every single one from the beginning, because then it just gives confusion. So routine also has to be developed in an orderly way. And my thought was, I don't know where everybody is on this, but I believe we were created by a God who is pretty organized. We're pretty in order. And I think we're supposed to kind of have some kind of order, and routine keeps the order and the organization inside of us and outside of us. And I think that's why we find more contentment that way too.
I would agree with you on that. But I would also, as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking about what routines have I had all throughout my life this part. Almost all of my routines encompassed work. It didn't encompass my personal life.
Right.
And it wasn't until I retired the first time that I started incorporating personal routines, which involved when I wake up and don't hop out of bed, go shave, jump in the shower, get in the car. Don't even get up yet, sit and read or something like that, and then exercise and that sort of thing. I started to feel a lot more calm.
Right.
I feel more like I had more of a purpose for life rather than just working for somebody else.
Just by having your routines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if you weren't like involved in some huge goal setting thing or had this dream you were fulfilling, just starting that point made you feel that more content with where you were today.
Yes.
That's pretty
That is neat.
That's really true. I know, remember another time, so when moms will talk about this, when suddenly the kids go back to, let me think, so, an example. Well, here's an example. So my girls were all in school 1 year only of all of it. And then we started homeschooling. And then 6 weeks into homeschooling, Ed took the girls out for what we called Save Mommy Sanity Day. Took them out for the entire day because it suddenly occurred to me, oh my gosh, this is 24/7 now. And they're older, not like when they're babies, and they're watching me. I'm like their role. I can't eat sloppy. I can't put my feet on the table. I put whatever. I just felt the pressure on being this role model. And so anyway, he took them out. Anyway, so I walked around the house going, what do I do? Because my routine was gone. I didn't know what to do. I was just kind of lost. It took me about an hour, and then I figured out what to do. But it's a teensy tiny scale of what you're talking about, a lifetime of work and routine and your mornings and everything.
Right.
But they really affect us in many different ways, for sure. Yeah.
I'm blessed that I have a wife that has stuck with me that long when I work so many hours, and I got things done at home, but that was at the sacrifice of not sleeping. So.
Oh.
Right. It's really true. I mean, we do manage to squeeze in more than we should for the sake of whatever. There's always the sake of something. And you are really lucky, blessed to have a wife who stuck with you through that, because I know we all stick with our husbands too, and they've done crazy stuff.
I had a hand cover to the door, but the keeper is here. But other than that, it was all good.
Oh,
Sure, I have one more thing I wanted to add to that.
Yeah.
When we do our healthy 7-day cleanse, the first couple of times I did it, I was absolutely miserable the first couple mornings starting that. And then I remembered hearing someone say that it's not because I wanted to drink my coffee, and I was so miserable because I came downstairs and I'm like, I can't even have my coffee. And then I heard someone say on a talk that it's not really the coffee you want so much, it's the routine.
wow.
I thought, oh, Oh, so then the night before, I just plan on what I'm going to have in the morning to replace that. I can still have my routine. I just can't have my coffee. And ever since that, I've never missed coffee during a cleanse.
Good.
Right.
Really neat. That really
Right.
makes sense too. So much. So that becomes, it's no wonder that lack of routine affects our mental health, because routine affects it the other way, because it keeps us calmer and less stressed and more secure and all those things. And it's no wonder through all this time we've gone through in our country and the world these last several months that we're seeing some real outbursts of really bad behavior because people can't handle it, Routine is really important. So whatever we can do, the littlest thing every single day, that we do the same thing every single day, that we can look forward to. We add another thing. We add another thing. And one thing I read said, just be careful not to be so strict in your routines that you can't be flexible. You can't, so that then when something comes along, you can't change your routine. The idea is that your routine is enough that keeps you stable so that when things come along, you can deal with them. And that's the idea.
Right.
So it's really good. Even if it's remembering, oh, it's just the coffee in my hand that I wanted, not so much the drinking of the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. You always walk around with an empty mug and hot water in it. Who would know the difference? Oh my gosh. Oh, well, that is great. Thank you, everyone. It's 8:35, and I don't want to keep us here longer, but thank you so much for coming. And Arlene, try to get to the recording and see the beginning of it. I think we might find some good things in there.
Yes, I think so.
And we'll meet again next week.
Next week. Great.
Right?
Thank you,
Great.
Sharon.
Thanks,
That
guys.
was
Have a good week.
God bless you, everyone.
Everyone,
Have a nice
take
night.
care.
You too.
Good night.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye.